Good morning. Welcome to From the Holler to the World. This is Cora Varvel, and as you can see in the background, I've been doing a little bit of Christmas decorating, got some things done. But today I wanted to get on and put on part 3 of the macaroni. At the end of the video where I'm showing you how to cook, I run into a little situation, and on top of it, maybe something happened. But you'll see it at the end. Please watch the whole thing. And I'm going to plan maybe to try to put a short on every day between now and Christmas, if I can, and tell you a little something that I remember about Christmas. So I'll try to come up with a story when I was young, or maybe raising my children, or something that happened, that I know about. And Christmas is really special because that is the birth of Christ. If Jesus had not come to earth, we would not have a chance. We were lost in sin, we were undone, and the birth of Jesus and him growing up and going to the cross gave us life. And I have accepted that and lived it and preached it and helped preach it for all these years. So please stay tuned, watch the part 3 of the macaroni. And incidentally, the Wildcats won, but we lost another game after that for basketball, and it's just sports. But with Jesus, you will never lose. And you don't have to pick a winning team. We are on the winning team. And so be sure watch this video and enjoy, and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. And I've gotten, I think 2,000 views on making macaroni and cheese. Who knew? So keep up with it and keep watching, and I will be back and talk to you later. All right, God bless you. Bye-bye. Okay, our macaroni is out of the oven. I think it took about 15 minutes, and it is really nice and brown. I'll hold it up close. It's nice and brown and solid. And so at this point, I crushed up some crackers in a sandwich bag. And I forgot to tell you a little while ago that the CL side of the family, the Varvels, were little Mama and old Papa, because she was teeny tiny, maybe 5'2", but as she got older, she was shorter. And my family was always Grandma and Grandpa. And so that was how we told them apart. So if I say little Mama and old Papa, it's CL side. And if I say Grandma and Grandpa, then it's my side. And I'm gonna put this back in the oven just to brown, and I'll tell you a little story, and we'll wait for it to get brown. I was always famous when I taught Sunday school and youth. I was always famous for telling my little house on, I'm gonna set this timer for like 5 minutes. I do time things sometimes. I was always famous for telling my Little House on the Prairie stories, is what they called them, because coming from the holler, there was lots of times that we did things like they did on Little House on the Prairie. Like my school, my grade school looked just like Laura Ingalls' school, a one-room grade school. I went 1st and 2nd grade there. I actually started school when I was 5, and that's when my brother Junior, Victor Jr. was born. And so I went until December, which is coming up his birthday. Happy birthday, Junior, and the 1st. I went, and then once we had the new baby at home, I decided to quit 1st grade when I was 5. And I wanted to stay home with the baby. Well, that worked. And the next year, when I was 6, officially, I started 1st grade for real. And I went half of the year, and I finished. I think we only had maybe a reading book and a little writing tablet. And I finished those. And so she didn't know what else to do with me, because I could sit and watch the other classes. And my sister Nellie was in the 2nd grade. So I sat near hers. I was the only one in my class. And so I sat near the 2nd graders, and I watched them do their work. And so I learned at the same time, which was a benefit really for me, because I didn't have anything else to do. So I would listen to the 2nd grade. And I remember we had a classmate named Doug Boggs, and I'm not sure what happened to him. If you know, tell me in the comments. He sat right in front of me, and he didn't necessarily like to do his work, but he liked to chew bubblegum. So he would give me bubblegum, and I would do his math papers. Of course, it was like 2 + 2, 2 + 1, simple things that I had learned watching the class. So Doug gave me his math papers. He passed them to me with bubblegum, and I got to do them, and I thought it was fun. Well, it ended up that I was able to finish school early because I had the first and second grade in the same year. Come Christmas break, oh, Nellie was in the third grade, because at the Christmas break, she put me into second grade, and I was still the only one in my class. So when it came my class time, she worked one-on-one with me, and that was a lot of benefit. It was kind of like having homeschool or a private tutor because I was the only one. So when I was 16, my entire senior year, graduated when I was 17 in May, turned 17 in May, graduated, turned 17 in April, graduated in May, I'll get it. And so I started college. My whole first year of college at Moorhead I was 17, turned 18 in April, and finished my year in May. So that was pretty cool. But I lost my train of thought where I was headed. But I used to always tell stories, and they would say they're Little House on the Prairie stories because it was like her schoolhouse. And we had a wood stove when I was really little. And then when I was maybe in middle school or high school, we got a gas stove with the bricks in the front. And so that was really nice. But I think my older sisters can remember when we moved into the house on Kansas Creek that there wasn't anything but a fireplace. And I don't think there was electricity for a little while. But by the time I got old enough to realize, we had a wood stove and we had electricity. But I remember my mom cooking on a wood stove. I remember coming home from school and had a big reservoir on the side that kept hot water. And she usually made, like in the wintertime, she would have a big pot of rice. And we ate rice like cereal. We didn't eat it like a casserole. We put sugar and milk in it and ate it as cereal. And coming in from walking home from school in the snow, and that warm stove would have warm water in it, and she would have a big pot of rice with warm milk and sugar. There's a lot of good things about growing up in the holler, things that we don't do now that were special. A big snow would come and we would make snow cream, which you'd put milk and sugar in snow and make snow cream. And then we went through a spell where we were not supposed to eat it because of the radiation. I think now maybe they've gone back to eating it, but it's a little hard for me because I remember all the radiation that'll come out of the sky and on your snow. And so a lot of stories I used to tell my kids and youth and Sunday school when I would teach, and they loved to hear the tales and the stories. And so I thought, while my macaroni is getting brown in the stove, I would tell you a couple of Little House on the Prairie stories. So let's check and see. I think it's done by now, and maybe we can have a bite of it. Well, not quite. I'll turn the broiler on. That'll do it. Because it's done, it just needs to do it. I'll probably think of one more story. Oh, we got tons of stories. Some of the videos down below with me and Nellie sitting and talking, if you'll check some of the other videos, we tell some stories, and we tell one about Nellie getting her finger stuck in the well pump. The pump handle, we had to make our own paper cups and go outside, and the pump, you had to pump it like that and put your paper cup under there to get a drink. And somehow Nellie's finger slipped in the mechanism of the pump and couldn't get it out, and so she stood there screaming and screaming. And if you remember, Mosey Riley, after about 15 minutes or whatever I was trying, he ran in and got the poker that you use for the stove to shuffle the wood and the coal around, and it was a long metal rod. He grabbed that and brought it out and stuck it underneath that mechanism and raised it up, and she slipped her finger out. So it was pretty traumatic. She was standing there jumping up and down, screaming, crying. And Melissa Edwards was our teacher, and she let us all go home for the day. And that was a lot of fun. But there's so many stories from the holler that I'm going to share as I go along, and just special memories and things that, you know, just were part of my childhood growing up. And I look back on them now, and we didn't have a lot, but we had each other, and we were thankful for that. We had church. We had God. My mom was always, always serving the Lord and singing hymns and teaching us Bible verses and teaching us prayers. I remember her teaching me, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take." Now that made me teary right there. Anyway, and I remember watching my dad get saved. I was probably, I was maybe like 6 or 7 or something. I was young, but old enough to know what was going on. And we had a big tent revival on Kansas Creek at the church. And a lot of people were there. It was really crowded and full. And I remember watching, my dad had always been a good man. He was a great a great dad and a great man and worked hard and took care of us. And I remember him watching him walk down to the altar, and he knelt down and he was crying and my mom was crying and everybody around, they were all just crying. And I was scared because I didn't understand, you know, why everybody was crying. But that was a tremendous day, watching my dad get saved. And he just stayed a Christian, stayed serving the Lord the entire time. He and Mommy, he was a deacon, and they made communion there on Kansas Creek. I remember her baking the communion bread. And then we went down to the Christian church in Blaine, and our Sunday school teacher, he was an older man. He probably was about 80, Mr. Gamble. It was a rich old man, lived up on a hill in a big mansion. And he taught us, and every week he would challenge us to read Bible verses. And so we had to promise him that we'd read, like, it was either 5 chapters. If anybody can remember, let me know in the comments. But it was either 5 chapters or 5 verses, and I can't remember which. But Sarah Childers, which was Sarah Gamble, she probably would remember, because I think they were distant cousins or something. But you wouldn't think that an older man would affect the youth, but he did. He had a burden for us and wanted us to be taught. Oh no, I waited too long. See what happens when you tell stories? You burn your macaroni. Ha! That's hysterical. Now I'll have to peel all that off. Oh good, it just falls right off. That's a good thing. Look at that. I'll be able to save the entire thing. All is not lost. But I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna leave this in, because you need to know. You just need to know that that's how life is. Sometimes, the old saying, sometimes you get the bear and sometimes the bear gets you. And today I'm not letting the bear have my macaroni. I'm gonna taste it in the corner. I know it's gonna be good. I'm gonna taste it for you. There's still enough crackers on there. My house smells, the fire alarm may be going off. Smoke alarm, I mean. As they say in Kentucky, this will burn your goozle. I think it's your gizzard or something in through there, your throat. But we always said your goozle. You cannot even taste the burn. I'll just shovel that off in the trash can. Nobody will ever know. Our secret. All right. Sign in, subscribe, share. I'll be back with some more recipes and some more, hopefully not burned, but some more Kentucky traditions. I'm proud of my heritage. I love North Carolina. I've been here for 27 years. You would think I'd be a Tar Heel, but somehow just can't get the Kentucky out of the girl. I love it. Love the Kentucky people. Love my family. And y'all like and subscribe. And I'll be back. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.